Hey guys, wanted to do a really quick video of a project. I know I posted recently that I was going to build a guitar around a pickup, but I'm not going to have time to do that. So I found this kit on eBay. I was actually just looking for a neck because I knew I wouldn't have time. I mean, obviously a body like this you can throw together in an afternoon practically, but a neck, I just don't have time. So anyway, found the neck and then the body with it as a kit was actually really cheap. So I'm going to show you kind of the good, the bad, and the ugly of what we have here. So start with the neck. First thing we have, it's a mahogany neck, the rosewood fingerboard, cheap plastic nut, standard Mortison tenon joint, like you'd find on just about any junior style Les Paul body. So let's start here at the tenon. As you can see, I just didn't do a great job. Nothing too bad. Get a little closer here, but you can see there's a big gouge right there. It's a pretty rough cut. Decent angle on the neck here, but I might make it a tad steeper. I don't know. I'll have to kind of dry fit it and see. A little bit of filler when they put this wedge on the bottom. A little bit of filler there, but I mean, you find filler on Gibsons. They don't put a wedge on there, but you still find it on the binding and stuff. So I'm not too upset by that. Overall, again, you have more gouging here, but sand that smooth and all that wouldn't be bad. Neck shape feels a lot like a kind of a standard Gibson C-shaped neck. I mean, nothing real spectacular about it. They did a good job on the scarf joint. There's a little knot right there, just a little inclusion. Not a big deal. I'm going to do a dark finish on the whole thing, so it won't really be able to be seen. Let's go over the headstock. They put on a Gibson headstock, which actually bothers me a fair bit. It's not a Gibson. I don't want to imply that it's a Gibson, or down the road someone to see it and think it might be a Gibson, someone who doesn't know how to identify fake Gibsons. So I'll probably change that to maybe just a basic arch or something, just something to make it clearly not a Gibson. The holes for the tuning machines are not perfect circles, so the tuners do kind of sit in a little wobbly. I don't know if I'm going to plug them and re-drill them or just make it work. I'll probably just make it work. But overall, nice piece of wood. Where I was really impressed, not by the nut, it's just cheap plastic nut, I'm going to pop that off, is the fretwork is actually really good. I've never seen a kit guitar where they did as good a job on the fretwork. There is a small spot, if we can find it, here it is, right, can't really see it there it is, you can see it, where it needs to be just maybe sand a little bit smoother. But overall, they did a really good job on the fretwork. There's no sharp edges at all through here. It's really nice and beveled. The frets, they'll need some crowning and some polishing, but still in good shape. The inlays are good. There's no excessive overgluing or anything. The rosewood fingerboard, at least I'm assuming it's rosewood, has some really nice grain pattern to it. I don't know what exact species of rosewood it's supposed to be, but it looks pretty nice. Kind of standard thickness. 12-inch radius. I checked it with my radius gauge. They got it pretty spot on all the way up. So overall, neck, I don't know, 8.5 out of 10. So not too bad. Not perfect, but not terrible. Let's get to the body. Kind of get over here. Body is actually 2 pieces of mahogany. It's hard to see on the top, but you can actually see the line. It kind of goes right through there where they glued the 2 pieces. It's really blatantly obvious. I can pick it up with one hand. Blatantly obvious on the end grain. You can really see it right there. And then across the back, just from this angle, you can see. Actually, when I first pulled it out of the box, I thought, holy cow, I got a 1 piece, but I didn't. There is one kind of small spot here. I was actually a little disappointed about that because it's just in a spot where it's gonna always be visible when I play. So it'll probably always bug me, but we'll see. I'm gonna do a pretty dark finish on this, so it may not even be noticeable. The routes are pretty good. These are the right size post holes for the bridge that I had, so I shouldn't have to enlarge those or anything, so that's not bad. Let me go into the back. They did not inlay the control cavity at all, so I'll have to route that out because I don't like it to be up. I do want it to be flush with the back. It's set up for just basic wraparound bridge, which I have. And then, so let's look at the joint more specifically before I put that on. It's pretty rough. There's a lot of, kind of, not really tear out, but just kind of rough cuts through there. Their bit was getting old. It's not perfect through there. But I'll have to clean all that up. The pocket itself is actually too tight. If I were to try to glue it as it is, even if it did fit perfectly, it's way too tight, and I would end up with all my glue would get smooshed out. It's just way too tight. So you kind of look at it here. That's as far back into the neck as it'll go, or into the body, I mean. So get that tight, and you can see it's a pretty significant gap right there. I mean, it's a good, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not good at guesstimating measurements. Anyway, pretty significant. I mean, you could stick probably a credit card in there. So however thick your credit card is. So it's pretty thick. And the other thing that kind of bothers me, so typically on a Les Paul Jr., either they have the tenon is flush with the side of the neck, so it goes straight out and kind of goes into the body. So when you have these rounded tops, it kind of creates a nice clean line, or the top is flatter and doesn't have this more pronounced radius. And this isn't even very pronounced, but it is pronounced enough that you notice. And what we end up with here is when I do get this, there's going to be a really hard line and then a curve that's just not going to look clean. It'll look kind of like the neck and the body weren't designed to go together, which will bother me. So I'm kind of contemplating a few different ideas with that. Not to mention, it'll just collect crud. It'll just be kind of gross. Probably what I'll do is I'll work up a little jig or something where on the neck I'll take a little router bit and just cut a little piece all the way down, just straight down. That's the same radius as the outside of this here. If I had made the body and I wanted a radius top, I probably would have stopped the radius before if I were making it specifically for that neck, but I didn't. Again, I bought this from China. The kit is Allen Eden, I think. They're shipped out of California, but clearly these are Chinese-made guitars. But overall, it's not bad. Sorry, I was just showing nothing. But anyway, overall, it's not bad. It'll be a fun project. I'll be able to kind of just crank it out little by little. I'm going to do a really dark finish, probably going to do wood tone guitar finish. I've used those before. They're super easy. Since it's going to be a winter and fall project, I don't like spraying when it's cold for obvious reasons. So, and my garage is only like kind of heated, and I typically like to spray outdoors if I can anyway. So we'll just do that rubbed on finish, and I can do that in my basement. It's not a big deal. But I'm going to do a solid brass bridge, unfinished, so it gets kind of like cruddy looking, along with some solid brass knobs. Don't know what tuning heads I'm going to use yet. I have a Fralin pickup that I actually found in my basement over the weekend, and so I kind of got excited about doing this project. So I ordered this, and it showed up, but I guess it was a couple weekends ago. Another quick side note, they did get a little wobbly with the drill bit on this one. I think once I get a knob in there, it won't matter. Just a side note. So overall, for what you pay for these kits, they're not bad, but you're going to have to do some work. You're not going to come in. I would not recommend this for a first-time woodworker. Maybe a first-time guitar builder or guitar kit person that has some woodworking experience. this would be a pretty easy project to take on, but if you're not familiar with the tools or you don't have access to good router with good bits and aren't used to making jigs or anything like that, I would discourage this as your first run. But again, for the price, you mess up, go buy another one. I mean, you can buy 4 or 5 of them for the price of what you're going to spend on a Les Paul Junior, which, quite frankly, these days isn't that much better than these 2-piece bodies or anything. So, anyway, that's my thought. First steps of project. That'll take me a few weekends to get done. But anyway, thanks, guys.